So good evening, good morning, good afternoon, whatever time that you are watching this video. I'm Richard Taylor, and I just had to make this video today. I'm here at the radio station getting ready for a show, but this been on my heart since somebody reached out to me about this situation. Now, about 2 weeks ago in the city of Goldsboro, North Carolina, a 14-year-old teenager was killed in a city park. And subsequently after that, a 32-year-old man was shot in a housing project, not too far away. Now, later reports came out that, those two shootings were related, and there were reports of, the 32-year-old man who was shot also shot the 14-year-old teenager at the park. Now, the original story that was circulating that, the two had gotten in an argument over a basketball game, and the 32-year-old man shot him. Now, but last week, a family member of the deceased child reached out to me, and they gave me a different story than what other people were saying. So, and according to this family member, there were some extenuating circumstances that led up to the child's death, and the child being pretty much shot, killed, murdered, however you want to put it, by the 32-year-old man. Now, out of respect for the child and the family, I will not divulge those extenuating circumstances. However, from what was told to me, that the killing of the child was egregious, unnecessary, and could have been avoided. Now, what's most disturbing about this situation is the police actually have eyewitness testimony of that same 32-year-old man, people identifying him as, standing over that child, shooting him multiple times while the child was on the ground pretty much begging for his life. Now, the family member also told me that the police had informed her that, they haven't arrested the man because they don't have a strong enough case. And, that's most disturbing to me, because if you have eyewitnesses saying, that they were there from the beginning to the end, saying that, this man stood over the child and shot him several times, I don't know how much stronger a case that you may need to build. Now, also, the relative told me that the police were also saying that the man, the 32-year-old man whose name is in the article, was not a threat, because he too was suffering from some complications from his injury of being shot. Now, once again, that scenario of him being shot, only, a few minutes or an hour after shooting someone seems kind of sketchy, for lack of a better word. Nevertheless, police have several people who have identified this gentleman as shooting this child, allegedly shooting this child, and once again, he's walking around scot-free. Now, as I was listening to the lady, I had to ask myself why. Then she gave me some clarification of maybe why. Now, she said that from her understanding that this gentleman who shot the child may have been or is in the military. And then so my first thought, a light came off, was, okay, well, anybody knows anything about Goldsboro, they know we have Seymour Johnson Air Force Base, which pretty much is the staple, which pretty much is the flagpole of Goldsboro. It's very esteemed. Is what we use to draw people to the city. So then that lets me think that, okay, well, if this guy is in the military, especially Seymour Johnson Air Force Base, then of course it will look horrible, to the city, to the base, to the town as a whole, to have an article or report saying that a Seymour Johnson Air Force Base airman killed a 14-year-old child. So that was one of the reasons why the only reason that I could think of why this man wouldn't be arrested as of yet. So I dug a little bit deeper, and I checked some sources who are close to the Air Force Base, and they actually pretty much assured me that this man was not in the Air Force. Now, that doesn't mean that he may not be an active member in another branch. I'm not sure. But whatever the case may be, I know that myself, or the average citizen who was seen and identified as standing over someone and pulling the trigger multiple times, would be still walking out free of charge, not even arrested, not even in jail, not even in a bond. And there is no outcry. There is no outrage. So once again, my question is why? Hopefully this video will get to the Goldsboro Police Department and we can get some transparency about this situation. Because once again, if a person has been identified as a shooter, then there has to be some type of arrest. No matter what type of arrest it is, there should be something done. And also, there has been no further news coverage. I think I dug up one article online about this. So once again, that raises my antennas as well. This should be something that is ongoing. Where is the media coverage? Where is the citizen outrage? I mean, of course, the town, we grieved for a little bit. We talked about it. We posted about it on how all the guns and all the town is bad. But then it's 2 weeks later. There's no arrest and everybody has moved on. Everybody talks about the Cowboys and the playoffs and, all of these things. And we have a child that has been murdered, and I think there has to be a level of transparency. There has to be a level of concern where there is no one brought to, no one brought to task about this situation when the life of a 14-year-old and more importantly, the death of a 14-year-old is at stake and no one has been brought to justice. So I'm speaking on behalf of the family. Once again, I'm hearing their side of the story, but once again, that corroborates, with some other stuff that I've been hearing. So my question to the Goldsboro Police Department is why, what is going on? Why don't you have a stronger case when you have witnesses identified? This man and the way that act was carried out on a defenseless person who was laying on the ground. From what I was, from the information that has been given to me, and also once again, and we can talk about why the police hasn't done anything, but this also grows deeper to us as a culture, meaning us in the African American Black community, whatever you want to call us these days. But we still have this insensitivity, where our children are being killed. And only a week or two after that, in Fairview Homes, another housing area, where a 7-year-old shot an 8-year-old accidentally, reportedly, because he found a gun or a gun was left or whatever. I don't know. It may have been the 7-year-old's gun. I don't know. But, we have these incidents of gun violence and there's just so much destruction. So while we are outraged about, police killing us, we also have to take our own self to task and say, okay, when is this going to end on our part? When the lady, the family member was describing the way that, the 32-year-old man allegedly stood over the 14-year-old child. Only thing I could think about was the description of what happened between Trayvon Martin and George Zimmerman. That's the only thing I could think about. So that that incident, was not brought to justice. So I hope this incident, someone will, be brought to retribution, through legal matters before this, for this senseless death. And once again, there are some extenuating circumstances that led to it. But once again, from what I understand and what I can decipher from the situation, that young man did not have to die in that manner. So I want to just plead to all of us as a community, to once again stand up against this on both sides. If this does happen, that person who perpetrated that act needs to be in jail. And also, we need to take each other to task on how we treat each other, how we see each other, how we we treat our children, you know, how what we allow our children to see and think, and what we condone as acceptable, as opposed to condemning, you know, these acts of violence, you know, this culture of death that is so prevalently just ravaging us as a whole, and actually making us insensitive to our own life. So I hope this video reaches someone who can shine light on this situation, someone who can provide clarity for the family, and also someone who can make sense of, you know, why there is a death of a 14-year-old boy and no one has been brought to task. Thank y'all for listening. Y'all have a blessed day, morning, evening, whatever the time that you are watching this video. Thank you.